Okay.
David, let's do it.
David in Texas.
Hey, hi guys.
Hello. Hey. What would you like to talk about?
All right. I'm not sure what the cost grader wrote, but it's essentially Pascal's wagers with like 2 extra steps.
Well, before we jump in, just for context, Are you religious? Are you an atheist? What's your take on it?
I'm pretty religious. Like my entire family is religious. Like I called last week. I'm the one who's like entire family like are dedicated to be pastors. My dad's pastor, grandfather's pastor.
Okay.
I was like in a Bible school and whatnot.
And you still firmly believe?
Yeah, I have no other choice.
Oh, that leads right in. I love it. All right, that's a good segue.
Yeah,
so what would you like to...
This perfect segue, if I may, to
Go for
Pascal's wager. Okay. So obviously you guys are familiar with Pascal's wager.
For those, just really quick, I'm just going to jump in. Because we want to try and teach people, we'd like to really quick go over Pascal's wager, and I hope you agree with us. We make a small chart, and the chart that's given has 4 segments, and there's belief, not belief, true, and not true. And so if you don't believe and it's true, the punishment is eternal suffering.
Yep.
If you don't believe and it's not true, nothing happens. If you believe and it's true,
eternal reward.
Eternal paradise, yeah. And if you believe and it's not true, nothing happens. And so the way Pascal's wager is given, it is better to defer towards belief just in case. Would you say that sums up Pascal's wager?
It sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
So have you considered that there are infinite quadrants in this and not just 4?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so the reason there are infinite quadrants is because there'd be infinite, incarnations of God. And so you'd have, Thor and Zeus and the Greek pantheon and native religions and ones that, the dude down the street from you has, which is just wild, but he really wants to show it to you. That creates so many grids that being able to land on the one where you go to eternal paradise, I would say defer not towards it, or else you'd have to believe everything, and that doesn't get you anywhere. But I've been talking over you. Go ahead.
It's okay, Eric. It's what you do best, right?
Oh, gosh, I know. I'm so sorry. Oh, that is a sting. That is, go ahead, man.
I'm honestly just calling in to roast you, Eric.
Oh, dude, you know what? My absolute favorite is when I see roasts in the comments. I cannot tell you how many just amazing zingers people have said about me. It's beautiful. I send them to my friends.
I'm not sure if you've been looking at the live chat right now, but there's a trend going on that you hate all Scotsmen.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, only true Scotsmen.
Oh, gosh. Okay. But let's...
What are these 2 extra steps?
Yeah, let's dive right in. Thank you, V. You're putting us back on the rails.
So you say you have 2 extra steps that make it more sound or better argument?
Yes. Okay. So it's not necessarily more sound. It's still Pascal's wager, and we both know that's not a rational base to truth. So it's not going to get any closer to truth, because if you had any more reason to get closer to truth, then you wouldn't need Pascal's wager. So the few extra steps is you look around the people who are close to you, the people and inside the religions that you were raised in. And the additional step for the Pascal wager is that if you believe differently than all of them, regardless of what happens in the afterlife, you're going to be ended up separated from everyone that you know and love. So if everyone around you in your life, it's also like an extra step. So I'm not going to skip ahead. So the first one, the first extra step is that in the afterlife, if you believe the same thing that everyone around you believed in your community, with your friends, your family, everyone, grandparents, great-grandparents who are no longer with you, if you all believe the same thing, then regardless of where in the afterlife, then you guys are all going to end up together. So let's just say if
Are you saying that there's more than one? I'm just to clarify. Are you saying there's more than one afterlife?
No, I'm saying that if you're wrong, you're all wrong together.
Okay, because I'm right now my brain is stuck on, okay, this person's Catholic, they go to, Catholic heaven where there's still guilt. But if you're Mormon, you go to, celestial heaven.
Get your own
but
planet.
That's if you were good. But if you weren't really Mormon, but you were a great person, you can still get to telestial, which is decent.
Okay.
But it's mid-rent heaven. But if
the
you believe
riverside
in
of heaven.
Yeah, but if oh my gosh, that is an Austin joke. Yes. Okay, hold on a second. That was beautiful.
Sorry, I derailed that.
That completely threw me off. But if you're an Odinist, then maybe you go to Valhalla because you died in war. Is that what you mean? I'm not understanding. I'm trying to ask for clarification.
No. So let's just say, my family is Apostolic Pentecostal.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much from my right? So pretty much from my great-grandparents, my dad was an evangelist in Mexico, starting up churches and stuff like that. A couple of my uncles are pastors.
Yeah.
Do
you speak in tongues?
Huh?
Do you speak in tongues?
I used to.
You used to? Do people in your church still speak in tongues?
Yes.
What stopped you?
I don't know if I have that loving relationship with God anymore.
That's got to be feel really guilty and shameful. The only reason I say that is I felt that way at one time. How about you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's whack. I'm sorry, but from the outside, I'm sure you can appreciate how absolutely wacky that looks to other people. Right?
I know.
Yeah. Rolling in the aisles, all that stuff. Okay. So your first point is if you believe different things, you'll be separated from each other. So are you saying that it would behoove us to all believe the same thing?
At least for the people who are close to you. So I would say that there's no point in trying to convert people. No point in trying to convert people because they'll be separated in whichever afterlife, even if it's nothing,
I agree, actually. We should not be converting people. We're good there.
I'm also I don't mean in just atheist ways, but I'm also talking about just in general, or religious things,
sure.
People, entities, organizations.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is an ought and not an is statement.
Can you explain?
Sure. So one is talking about things that exist, and another is talking about what we should do and how our behaviors should be. Mm-hmm. And how you derived that ought, I think if we look at the classic Pascal's wager, I think I can see where you get there, but mm-hmm. where we're splitting off, I think, is mm-hmm. we're not concerned with the ought until we know what the is. And so if we don't agree on Pascal's wager, then taking it a step further would make zero sense. And so I guess the question to you is, and I'm sorry I keep spinning this back around, but you have to understand this from my side. Dude, you believe that angels speak through people by possessing them. Am I right? I mean, I don't want to say that. Is that about correct?
I'm not sure what I necessarily believe about people speaking in tongues. I think it's just something that our way of understanding bliss, because it doesn't really matter whether or not anything is real. People can have a relationship with something that doesn't exist. So when people are speaking in tongues, that can just be their version of trying to understand that bliss thing. Because people in the altar just be crying of joys, and then they'll do something that just feels natural to them, and that's speaking in tongues because kind of everyone speaks in tongues, and that's just their natural way of doing that. At least I think. I don't know.
If you were to ask them, is that what they would say?
Probably not.
It's the same reason I had somebody, when I was on my live stream on Twitch yesterday, somebody said, somebody asked, how do you think LGBT members of Christian religions rationalize that their God would be okay with their homosexuality?
Yeah.
And how they come to that. And my response was, I'm not part of that community, and I'm not a Christian. I'm not part of that community. So I really am not in a position to speculate. You know what I mean?
I can answer that.
So I think you'd probably agree on that, right?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that might be. Did you have anything to add? Because
Well, I just want to make sure I understand. I feel like the motive that you've got for this is that you're kind of saying what happens in the afterlife maybe doesn't matter as much as what happens right now. And so if your Pascal's wager is more like what would benefit you in this life and what would result in you being cast out from the people in this life as opposed to the afterlife. Am I understanding that right?
Okay, so the first part of Pascal's wager, like the first extra step that I was referring to, was solely afterlife.
Right.
Like,
okay.
If you decide to believe separate from your family, regardless of who was right in the end, you're going to be separated from them.
Okay, so the goal is to maintain the family connection.
Yes.
Even if you're all suffering and held together.
Even if we're all suffering and held together. So, even if we're suffering inside someone else's hell. Now, the other step of Pascal's wager that I didn't get to was what you were referring to right now, Viv. And it's maintaining the community here, because what's the point of being, like, orchestrated from your family, you know?
Oh, dude, you're talking to the community guy. Yeah. I'm always going to say, you know, make sure you take the time to tell the people you love that you love them. And at the same time, I've had people come in here to the ACA, more people than I've ever imagined would come and tell me to my face, I've been disowned.
Yeah.
You know, I've been told the most heinous things, or I've experienced abuse because I don't believe. And my family, significant other, whatever the case is, couldn't handle that. And so, to the extent that it's not going to hurt you. What's up?
I am in a very fortunate situation because my mom and my siblings know what I do and they know where I stand and they are supportive of me, and it's amazing. But not everyone has that benefit of that kind of bond with their family, and I understand that. My question is, if you know that expressing a different belief would ostracize you from your family, are you okay living in a family where you know that if you didn't think like them, they would disown you?
It wouldn't really matter if I'm okay with it, right?
Well, I think I would have reservations about being part of a group that if I disagreed, I'd be booted out on my ear. That's not real love. That's not beneficial to anybody. If you can't be who you are and think what you think and still be accepted, why hang on to that?
Because you have a choice to rather, you know, stay silent about it and be with and support your family. Because, I mean,
do you think that's a good thing, David?
I've done a lot of good things to the church.
No.
I volunteered a lot.
I'm sorry. I no doubts about that.
Yeah.
I'm asking, do you think it's a good thing to be quiet if you disagree for the sake of making your family happy?
So it's funny because if someone else was talking to me and asking me, should I like if they're telling me, Jay, I'm sorry, I just said my real name. Whoops.
We'll continue to go with David. We're good.
My bad, man.
It's all good.
They're like, David, should I, you know, sacrifice my happiness to make my family happy? I would say no. But if someone were to ask, you know, that same question, or if I were to ask that same question, I would say yes, that, it's okay for me to do it to make my family happy.
We hold ourselves to amazingly different standards.
Yeah.
Wow, can I relate to that?
Like, I was like a prodigy, man. Like I learned like so much about the Bible, since I was like a little kid. You know?
I mean, so first I'll say that I need to make sure that I don't fall into fallacious reasoning on this one. Because what I'm about to say could fall into the Tukokwe fallacy. And that would be you too, right? The argument from hypocrisy is not a good one. But you would hold other people to a lesser standard than you hold yourself. And it's not because you're condescending, but because you don't give yourself the same permissions that you do for other people. And I can tell you from personal experience right now, it's a practice in self-love. You're allowed. And if no one has told you that before, then I am proud to be the first to say, David, you are absolutely allowed. You are absolutely allowed to love yourself enough to give yourself the same courtesy that you'd give other people. That's okay. It is okay. And I know it's hard to hear, and it definitely isn't going to help right now, but maybe in the future, if there's anything that you take away from this, you are allowed to. Even if we come to different conclusions, you wind up staying a Christian. That's fine. You're allowed to love yourself, David. I'm giving you permission, if anything. Shit. Because sometimes you need to feel like you have permission. I know that's true for me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
Well, yeah.
I've been watching Talk to You for a while now. You guys are great.
Aw, shucks.
Look at us getting all sappy.
I know, right? We're on different sides of the fence.
I love it.
Yeah.
And this is the thing too. I found more family. Even this conversation, we are bonding in a very vulnerable and intimate way right now. And it's amazing. And your family can be whoever you want it to be. You're given one at the beginning of your life. These are the people you were born into, and the family and the community. And sometimes it's amazing and great, and you don't feel the need to find more people. And sometimes you do, and that is just as valid. Just as valid. I have so many little families in the different places that I've lived, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
With that, though, keep questioning.
Yeah.
And, hold yourself to the same standard, bud. It's really, it really is important. But with that, I think we're going to move on to the next caller.
Yeah, for sure. This was a fun call.
It was. It was.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Yeah. You guys take care.
You too.